What is up everyone, my name is Jan, and in today's video I'll be talking about my Game Week 1 top players to buy ahead of the FPL 26-27 season. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now starting off the video, I'm going to be starting off with Haaland because obviously most expensive player in the game and most popular player in the game as 70% owned. Now he did lose some of his percentage owned from last week because he went down by 5% because most likely because of the community shield, but in my opinion he is still a buy and essential. Now obviously on pens is now most likely going to start ahead of game week 1 from what we saw in the community shield, and we all know that he always starts the season very well. I mean, he started. There was a stat I saw on X that Haaland, he didn't score a goal in Community Shield, but he did score since he came from to the Premier League. He scored 8 goals in those 4 seasons in Game Week 1. So he scored 8 goals in Game Week 1, which just shows how good he always is. In Game Week 1, no matter how bad he does in preseason, he also had a World Cup, but he doesn't lose his appeal to me. He was very good against Arsenal, even under Maresca, So yeah, Haaland for me is going to be essential at 15.5 million still. I mean, whatever you do, just find a way to put him in your team. Now next up, I'm going to be talking about Bruno Fernandes. Now Bruno Fernandes is the best midfielder in the game by a country mile in my opinion. Because him being on pens, corners and free kicks for one of the best sides in the Premier League. For me, he is essential because of how good he is in the game, even not just from set pieces, even from open play. He always averages a good amount of XGI in the game per 90. Now, for me, yes, like I said, he's essential, even for 12 million because of how good he is. And also facing 2 new promoted sides at the beginning of the season with him facing Hull away and then Ipswich at home and also Everton away, which is not really bad as well. I think he's going to score an amazing amount of points, a ridiculous amount of points. He's also really good on bonus points because if he just gets 1 attacking return, he's going to massively get maybe a double-digit haul potentially, and it's also slightly good at DEFCON, averaging over 9 DEFCON per season. Per 90. Bruno Fernandes, not much to say about him. Those 2 players I just named, Haaland and Bruno Fernandes, are really essential, to be honest, and both are in my team. They're really high owned for a reason. Haaland is 70% owned and Bruno Fernandes is almost 50% owned, being on 49% right now, the last time I checked. But yeah, I think he's going to be really essential. Not much to say by him. Like I said, he's on all set pieces, very good bonus points, plays for one of the best sides in the Premier League. Like we saw under Carrick, he was also really good. He did break the assist record. Obviously he's not gonna get as many points as last season, but still, he's going to be very well and probably essential at the start of the season. Now, after Bruno Fernandes, I have another very expensive player, which is going to be Gabriel. Now, for me, he is in a void because of how they priced him. How expensive they priced him. At 8 million, he is too expensive. And in my opinion, you should just buy one of the 5.5 million defenders from Arsenal instead of Gabriel, and spend the 2.5 million elsewhere. That 2.5 million, just imagine what you can do in the other defenders or in the midfield or in the attack, maybe even the goalkeepers, and buy a 6 million keeper like Raya or Lamens, anything. That 2.5 million will really cost you, even if you save some of it, save 0.5 million and not spend all of it. Still, that 2.5 can really make your team just become so much better, and buy a lot of other great players and spread the money across the 15 players, not on just one player, because 8 million is too much. Now, yes, he's really good from set pieces and is probably the best Arsenal defender, but is he worth 8 million? No, he's not for me. Sorry for all the app, but yeah, I think Gabriel is not worth 8 million and you should just go for one of the 5.5 million defenders and save yourself the extra 2.5 million. And yeah, that's going to be Gabriel. Now, next up is going to be Joao Pedro. He is very essential, in my opinion, especially for the price point. He's very good value at 7 million, at 7.5 million, and how well he did in preseason, considering that also scoring 7 goals and 2 assists makes him a lot more appealing, in my opinion. I mean, even last season, he scored over 20 goals and he had over 20 goal involvements and very good XGI. With about over 0.5 XG per 90, expected goal involvement per 90. But yeah, like I was saying, he scored 7 goals and 2 assists in preseason, which makes him more appealing. Scored a hat-trick and an assist in less than 20 minutes, or about 25 minutes, something like that. But yeah, although he isn't on any set pieces, his stretch from open play is excellent, is amazing, at over 0.5 XG per 90. Yeah, like I said, I mean, his fixtures are also really good, immensely good. Starting with Fulham away, then Brighton home. The only bad fixtures then in Game Week 3, which is going to be against Arsenal away. I mean, you could potentially bench him, depends on how your bench looks and you know, if you have enough bench cover. But yeah, enough said, I think. And then he also plays Holloway after that. I forgot to mention, you know, potentially a good captain option along with Palmer, you know, if you were going to own Palmer in Game Week 4. But yeah, I think he's going to be a really, really good pick for 7.5 million. And I don't think we're going to miss out on him, you know. Him being on 60% owned is for a reason, you know. Now, next up, I am going with Szoboszlai. He's a good player and very essential, in my opinion. At 7 million, he's very good value for his money, with Liverpool having one of the best run of fixtures between Game Week 1 to Game Week 5. He is amazing value at 7 million, like I said. He's also on most of set pieces, maybe apart from penalties, because there's also Isak, the number 9 for Liverpool, you know, and it was on penalties. For Newcastle is most likely on Isak. But yeah, when he's not on the pitch, maybe it will be Szoboszlai. For 7 million, he's insane value, you know, because he's also on most of the set pieces, maybe apart from on most set pieces, corners and free kicks, all of them. But yeah, he's also very good for bonus points, which makes his floor very high. What I mean is, like, he's probably going to be scoring 4 to 5 points every week, because 1 assist or also just 1 goal, he'll just get 3 bonus points in every single way, because he's so good for Liverpool. In my opinion, I think, yeah, he's very central. He's also very high owned. I mean, I'm mostly picking very high owned players because all these players I'm mentioning are high owned because they're obviously very good for a reason, you know. They're very high owned for a reason. Because Szoboszlai over 40% owned. And yeah, I forgot to mention, I mean, that's all to be said about Szoboszlai, to be honest. 7 million, such great value. And yeah, I don't think you want to go without him. Now, next up is going to be Bruno Guimaraes on the list. Now, he was excellent for points scored last season, but now, after the move to Arsenal, he becomes a massive avoid for me. Now, he used to be in all set pieces, but now loses most of them under this Arsenal team with Arteta. Now, he will also be playing a lot more deeper, normally playing as a defensive midfielder, which will force him to score less goals and assists. Now, with this in mind, I don't really like him as a pick. For 7 million, you can do a lot better. Like I said, Szoboszlai, from the last guy I was talking about, he's a much better pick at 7 million than him. Now that he went to Arsenal, I mean, he was such a good pick before he went to Arsenal because he was on all set pieces. You know, he was the talisman, played 90 minutes. Now loses all of this. You know, I mean, potentially he might not even play 90 minutes anymore. So yeah, a lot of doubt about him. You have to monitor his minutes and how he plays, especially with Champions League now. For Arsenal, you know, for Guimaraes, so he might be rotated a little as well. I mean, he's definitely not as good as Szoboszlai or potentially maybe even Ndiaye or Enzo Laffi or any of those 6 million defenders. Probably not even better than Pascal Gross for Brighton, in my opinion, because he's such a better pick, an all-round better pick for 5.5 million. But yeah, we have to wait and see with Guimaraes for now. If he does well in the first coming game weeks, then we might consider him. But for now, I'm going to leave him out of the players to consider. After Bruno Guimaraes, I also have another player potentially at risk, with O'Reilly being at 6.5 million. He's also very expensive for 6.5, which loses most of his appeal for me. And knowing that there are many other 6.5 or lower price point defenders that are better, for example, Van Dijk or Tarkowski, makes him an instant avoid for me, because of that. Now, also, he might have reduced minutes at the start of the season because he went very late into the World Cup, which might mean Gvardiol or Aït-Nouri could play left back. Yes, he can play midfield, but there's also many players in midfield, and under Maresca, we don't know how he is going to play, because there's also Foden, Cherki, Anderson, we don't really know. But then we have O'Reilly at 6.5, like I already mentioned, and he's not really good. Van Dijk and Tarkowski are a lot better. Your O'Reilly doesn't really get DEFCON, and he might be rotated, like I said, because yes, Gvardiol can play left back. Like we saw, Maresca did say that Gvardiol was going to be one of his central pillars, quote unquote, alongside Foden, he said, and also I think it was Foden and Haaland. Foden, Gvardiol, and Haaland, 3 central pillars for the Maresca team of City. So for now, he's going to be an avoid. I'll monitor him and his minutes, like I said, with Guimaraes, and yeah, but for now, he is going to be an avoid for me. Next up, I have Mbeumo at 8 million. He's probably the best in midfield, the best midfielder for his price point. 8 million is probably cheap considering how good Mbeumo is. Will potentially be playing striker with Sesko injured and missing out on all preseason games. As a Man United fan, I can tell you that Sesko is most likely not going to start in the first game week. Maybe second or third game week he can get some minutes, but for now, Mbeumo is probably going to play striker over Cunha as well. But yeah, with Sesko injured, like I said, and missing all preseason games, and also Mbeumo didn't have a World Cup, so unlike Cunha, so he's probably all rested and had a whole preseason and with training with the other players in Carrington. But yeah, also playing Hull and Ipswich in the first 2 game weeks, so we'll start off very strong for sure. I don't have a doubt about that. And yeah, what makes him even more appealing, if you ask me, is how good he was in preseason. Like I said, scoring 3 goals and 1 assist, also scoring against PSG. Fun fact, making him look very in form and ready to go. I have no doubt that he's going to start the season very well. In terms of set pieces, he's also on corners for sure. I think Bruno takes the left and he takes the right corners. And yeah, he took a free kick against PSG, which was almost going to go in, and it was going to be a banger, trust me. I saw that with my own eyes, and I was like, whoa. Yeah, he looks very sharp, and he looks ready to go. And I don't really have too much to say about him. He's probably a central pick for me, over 30% owned for a reason, like I said, with other players. I really see him being very good at the start of the season. Now, lastly, I have Saka. Now, for me, he's going to be a massive void because he is such a waste of a pick. And for 9.5 million, there are many other better players. And I know that a lot of other managers will agree with me on this one. Now, what makes him a big void for me is that he also went very late into the World Cup, like Nico O'Reilly, and had no preseason at all, where he also didn't even start in the Community Shield, which just shows how not fit he is and not ready to start ahead of game week 1. Now, what I mean by that is just don't pick him, He's a big avoid for me, probably the biggest avoid on this list for me, because at 9.5 million, there's a lot many other players like Palmer, for example, even players at 8 or maybe even less than 7 million. There's Wirtz, there's Szoboszlai, there's Semenyo, there's Mbeumo. There are many other picks, better picks than him at a lot cheaper price, He is good when he's fit, but no, not right now. And also with Champions League, he's probably not going to start. He's also not really rested right now. I would be really worried for him. There's also Madueke in his position, and yeah, potentially Dowman. Yes, he's probably not going to start. He's very young, but there are many other players in position, and he's always not fit. I mean, we can see right now he's not even fit to start game week 1. But yeah, thanks you guys for watching. That is going to be the end of this list. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great game week 1, and I'll see you guys in the next one.